Before the Balmung sword was wielded by Sigmund, it was primarily owned by the men in the Velsung line. During the wedding feast of Sigmund's sister, Sigmund had received the sword from a strange man unbeknownst to him. The strange man was Odin. During the feast, Odin, disguised as the strange man, thrust the sword into a tree called Bornstoker. He then shouted to whoever pulled the sword from the tree's trunk shall receive the sword as a gift. As soon as the strange man leaves the feast, every man had made an attempt to pull the mysterious sword from the tree trunk. However, they all failed, except for Sigmund, who draws the sword with ease. Sigmund saw a fine sword which King Sigurd coveted. Because of that, Sigurd offered Sigmund gold 3 times the weight of the sword. Sigmund then refused, which made King Sigurd angry. The king secretly thought of a plan to steal the sword, eventually killing Sigmund's father and capturing him and his brothers. The sword Balmung disappeared in the story for a while. Eventually, Signy secretly gives it back to his brother. Her brother, Sigmund, when he and Sinfotli were buried alive. After that, Sigmund avenged his family and used the sword in several battles until Odin broke it in the fight against King Lingvi. Subsequently, Sigmund's wife, Hjordis, took the 2 halves of the Balmung sword and kept it for their son, Siegfried. After a period of time, in keeping with tradition, a dwarven smith named Regan came and taught Siegfried about sports, runes, and language. He also told Siegfried about the dragon called Fafnir, as well as the treasure that the dragon was guarding. Regan then asked Siegfried to kill the dragon, and Siegfried agreed on one condition. He asked the dwarf to forge him a mighty sword that is capable of slaying a dragon. The dwarven smith confidently created a sword and presented it to Siegfried. But he broke the sword to his dismay. The same goes for Regan's second attempt, although the second was superior to the first. On the dwarf's third attempt, Siegfried presented Regan the 2 halves of his father's Balmung sword. When the sword was done, Siegfried then tested the sword's strength, the sword's sharpness, using the mighty sword that he now wielded. Sigurd avenged his father. Using the mighty sword that he now wielded, Siegfried avenged his father, Sigmund, and killed King Lingvi. Out of all the battles that Siegfried had accomplished, he was most well known when he killed the dragon Fafnir with a single and powerful thrust on the dragon's left shoulder. Siegfried eventually killed the Fafnir. Subsequently, when Siegfried died because of Brynhild, the sword of Balmung was used as a sign of honor. It was placed between Siegfried and Brynhild. On the funeral pyre, after the death of its wielder, there is no mention of the sword in the manuscripts.
What? How long have you been here? Creep. Wait, aren't you our guest? Consider yourself lucky then. I have orders to show you hospitality, so I won't throw you from the library balcony. For spying on me, at least. What are you even doing here at this hour? Do you know how late it is? I am studying. I have no time for simple things such as sleep. As for you, you still have not answered my question. You're looking for a book to read before you sleep. Like what, a children's book? You look too simple for a real book. I'm afraid this library isn't for you. Oh, but I'm sure there's a good little sign to read at the crossroads, just outside the castle. That should be perfect for your literacy, if not as entertaining. Now, carry along. You're interrupting a genius and his work. Oh, I'm very familiar with this library. They say knowledge is power. So, that would have me rival a god if that's the case. Yes, I've spent quite some time in this library. My family has made a use of it for who knows how long. No, I suppose you don't know my name, do you? Well, listen closely, for this will be a name to remember. What are you doing? Not that close. Are you too dumb to hear me unless you're this close? I am gonna tell you my name. I just don't want you in my face about it. Fine. Let me compose myself. I am Alberich, one of the 7 god warriors that serve Lord Odin. I am known for my nobility and my genius tactics. Remember me well, for I am the future ruler of Asgard. Now, get out of my face. What's with that smile? As I said, I'm going to become the next high priest. And it would be wise not to infuriate me. At least, for your future's sake. You don't want me as your enemy. Good. I'm glad you agree. Now, did you just kiss me? Who do you think you are? I'm not some toy for your pleasure. Stop that. I'm a noble. I won't be associated with a nobody like you. Of course I don't like it. My face? It's just warm in here from the fireplace. And also, you're just infuriating me. Of course I don't want to leave. I mean, I was here first. So, of course, it's you who should leave. I'm only breathing heavy because it takes so much energy to get my point through your thick skull. Why are you getting closer? I'm too cute to resist. How dare you? I'm a god warrior. Stop. What if someone sees? Weren't you just here to get a book to read before bed? This isn't exactly calming, idiot. You want me to read you to sleep? I'm not your nanny. But if it will get you to leave me alone and go to bed, I suppose, just this once. But I can't have my reputation be sullied by someone like you. So don't tell anyone. Got a loser? Fine. Now go pick a book already and let's get this over with. You want me to choose? I don't even know what you like. You want me to choose a book that I'd like? Well, I suppose that's doable. But don't get upset at me if your dim-witted mind isn't able to understand. Now, let's see. Ah, this should do. Okay, get ready, simpleton. It's time to begin. Hey! Get off me! What do you mean you're trying to get comfortable? I can't get away from you if you wrap your arms around me like that. My chest isn't some pillow to sleep on. It's somewhat like having a weighted blanket on me. Whatever. If this is what it gets you to stop annoying me, fine. Now, let's begin. Long before the world became as it is today, the Norns determined the life and destiny of all humankind. The Norns were a divine descent, and these powerful women governed the fate of each child being born. In this now long forgotten time in Midgard, the realm of humans, a girl named Mengloth and a boy named Svitgar were born. Despite that they lived worlds apart from one another, the Norns had decided that Mengloth and Svitgar were each other's great love. Mengloth, meaning the one shimmering of jewels, grew up in the Golden Hall, ruling a flourishing realm of prosperous farmsteads. She dedicated her life to healing the sick and wounded. Together with her handmaidens, she spent her days receiving the injured and suffering on a tall, towering mountain. There was no illness she could not cure, and everyone knew that all who visited Mengloth's mountain left healed and cured of everything ailing them. Yet, of this Svitgar knew nothing. He lived a very different life, far from Mengloth's mystic mountain. But finally, the day came when he realized that he could not escape his fate. And so he set out on the daunting task of finding someone he had never seen, somewhere he had never been. He endured many adversaries and adversities, experienced many adventures, but of these we will tell another time. Through determination, bravery, wit, and some magical guidance, Svitgar finally reached a large grim-looking gate. Through its iron bars, Svitgar could see the most magnificent scenery. The first thing he saw was a golden hall, guarded by two fearsome-looking dogs. All around the hall lay thriving farms, shimmering in the shining rays of the light reflected from the golden hall. He saw the largest tree he had ever seen. In the distance was a mountain so high that its top was hidden in the clouds. But no sooner had he put his hand on the gate's iron handle than he heard the noise of 1,000 shackles, and in an instant, the gate had ensnared him, and he was trapped. Almost instantly, a grouchy man appeared on the other side of the gate. "Who are you? Whom do you seek? Turn around, for there is nothing for you here," said the gatekeeper harshly. This greeting surprised Svitgar, for in this time before remembrance, generosity, and hospitality were always offered to wanderers. But Svitgar had encountered far dangerous beasts on his adventures than this gatekeeper. And he simply replied, "Who are you to deny a wayfarer his welcome? Now answer me. I would like to know who is the owner of all these riches and the ruler of this realm. By the goddesses and the gods, I have never seen a hall such as this, surrounded by a magical flickering flame." The gatekeeper answered, "She is named Mengloth. She is the mightiest of the rulers. You can see her at her mountain top, where she and her maidens are a joy to the sick and the sore. They bring aid to all, and if they sense danger, they guard each other and everyone from peril." Svitgar continued by posing another question. "Now answer me, for I would like to know, what is the name of this gate? By the goddess and the gods, I have never seen such a grim sight." The gatekeeper answered, "It is named Thimmergull, and it is the mightiest of the gates, for it traps whoever it lifts its latch." "Now answer me, for I would like to know, what is the name of this tree? By the goddesses and the gods, I have never seen a tree whose branches stretch so vastly," said Svitgar. "It is named Mimieth, and it is the mightiest of the trees, for its fruits heal unwell, expecting mothers. You can guess. What will destroy the tree, for fire nor iron can touch it, answered the gatekeeper. Svidgar continued asking, Now answer me, for I would like to know, what is the name of the dogs? By the goddesses and gods, I have never seen such fierce and angry hounds. One is called Gif, and the other is called Giri, and they are the mightiest of guardians, for one sleeps by day and the other by night. Not even a cat can evade them, and so it'll be until the end of time, said the gatekeeper. Now finally answer me this, for I would like to know, lives there a man whom Mengloth allows to sleep in her arms? Said Svipgir. There is no man whom Mengloth would allow to sleep in her arms, but Svipgir and everyone knows that they are destined for each other, answered the gatekeeper. Then fling back the gates and make your gateway wide for it. It is Svipgir you see before you. But first, ask if the sun-bright Mengloth will receive me with gladness, said Svipgar, smiling. Then several things happened at once. The iron gate released him, and the dogs greeted him with delight. The gatekeeper turned around and hurried to Mengloth, for he knew it to be true. The young man could be none other than the long-awaited Svipgar. Mengloth, a man has come. Go see your guest. The hounds are friendly. The gate has burst open. I think it must be him, called the gatekeeper as soon as he saw Mengloth on the mountainside. Mengloth stood very still for a few moments before she said, Hungry ravens will pluck your eyes out if you are not telling the truth about who has come to my realm. And then she began heading down to the mountain towards the gate. No sooner had Mengloth seen the man at the gate, and she asked, How did you come here? What do your kinsmen call you? I am Svipgir, and I came by the wind-cold ways. Am I greeted with gladness? Mengloth looked at the open gate and the peaceful dogs, and straight into the eyes of Svipgir, and replied, You are welcome. What I wanted, I have now obtained, and a greeting kiss shall follow. We both yearned, and I longed for you, and you longed for me. Finally, you have come to my hall, and from now on, we shall live our lives together. Because of Mengloth and Svipgar, people knew in this time, before remembrance, that for those who love, the longed-for meetings is the greatest gladness of all. I see you've fallen asleep too. I do have to admit, there is something curious about you. Well, I suppose resting my own eyes wouldn't hurt. At least for a little while.